Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I haven't posted that much. I haven't posted in like a month, but I'm back on my schedule and I'm gonna be putting out more videos for you guys, I guess. So let's get into this. We're going over a federal case, the JonBonét case. Basically, an overview, like background information. A pageant queen. She was basically I'm editing right now and I found out she was 6 whenever she died. So yeah, she was young. JonBonét, she was murdered and it's unsolved, but basically her parents were both pretty wealthy and they owned a really big mansion in Colorado, and basically it was Christmas night. They put their kid to bed and she never woke up. Basically the mom woke up first, like always, at 5:32 a.m. She ran down the stairs but got stopped by like a ransom letter, and it was 3 pages long. It's the most puzzling piece of evidence in this case, because someone who is kidnapping your child wouldn't leave that long of a letter, especially one rambling about this and that and everything. Basically, the ransom note said that they wanted $118,000 to get their kid back, and that was the bonus that JonBonét Ramsey, the dad, got that year. So as soon as she found the letter, she ran upstairs and checked on JonBonét, and she wasn't in her room. She instantly called the police and woke up her husband, and basically the police came, and at 3 minutes after she called the police, she started calling all of her neighbors, her friends, her family, everyone in her neighborhood. And they were all over there. There were people in the kitchen, living room, upstairs, downstairs, in the basement. And then the police showed up. They told John Ramsey to search the house top to bottom, and for some puzzling reason he started down in the basement. Down in the basement he found JonBonét, and she was laying on the floor. She looked like blue, and she had a white blanket like over her body, and then she had a thin piece of wire around her neck and duct tape on her mouth. Instantly he ran upstairs with her body and told the police. So that was the first suspect. As the police started investigating more, and this is the crazy part, they found out that the note was used with paper from the study in their house. So their instant suspicion was somebody inside the house killed JonBonét. The 3 people that were actually in the house were her brother, her mom Patsy, and her dad John. So they instantly went to John because he found the body. He started from the bottom, he should have started at the top. And whenever the police were investigating more into the case, they found out that the actual like thing that she was strangled with, the wire, it was suspended with a paintbrush from the mother's art set. So basically they were both officially suspects, and they ran DNA tests. The Ramseys said they would give hair, DNA samples, everything, and they all came back inconclusive. And as they were searching through her body and like, I realized I missed a piece of evidence. So whenever they were
basically searching her body, and they found under like the duct tape on her mouth, they found a red fiber under it, which is what they'll suspect is the guy who comes to their parties for Christmas, and that's another reason why he was a suspect.
On her clothes and stuff, they found DNA tests with marks from an unknown man on her underwear and her leggings. So they did tests, and out of 51,000 people, they still couldn't find out who it was. And officials like the FBI started running tests around their neighborhood, and there were over, I'd say 200, I think, sex offenders within 2.5 miles of their house. So the next suspect was John Olivia, and he was a family friend, and he was charged with child pornography in 2006. He was a suspect because whenever the police found out all the sex offenders, they checked them out, they did background checks, and whenever they looked through his stuff, they found a picture of JonBonét. His reasoning was that she was so memorable, and her story was so touching that he wanted to make a shrine for her. So they passed it off as nothing, and he wasn't suspect anymore. The next one is a family friend. He came to their Christmas parties every year and dressed up as Santa. This is the weird part. Basically, him and JonBonét were really close, and he said that she was so moving, and she gave him this container, yay big, full of glitter, and he told his wife that if he dies, and when he dies, he wants to have his ashes mixed with the glitter. Not only that, his wife wrote a play about a homicide with a girl getting killed in her basement by strangulation. That's tea. Turned out that the DNA samples didn't match, and eventually he wasn't a suspect anymore. People still suspected that Patsy Ramsey was the killer, and basically what they did is they took the ransom note, the 3-page long one, and they ran writing samples, and 6 writing officials, people that study writing and differences, started studying her writing, comparing it, and everything came back inconclusive. Until recently, in 2016, another writing official looked through the writings with different technology and found 200 similarities, how she would mix up her L's and make them capital whenever they're not supposed to be, and her different variations of A's. And it all came back to Patsy. Everything came back. So they went to court, they fought it. There was no way that she could have been the murderer.
I also forgot another part, but basically after they fought the case and they were proven not guilty, the judge officially apologized in public and showed everyone that basically they weren't guilty.
Until we found out more information in 2015, I think. A man from Bangkok, Thailand, had admitted to murdering JonBonét. He claimed that it was just a mistake and he didn't mean anything to happen with it, and he fled from America in 2001, I think, because of child pornography charges in California. So the National Homeland Security in Thailand worked together and they captured him, sent him back to America. He faced charges, but the DNA still didn't match up. So he was not a suspect at all. They didn't believe him. They thought he was a nut job. And to make this case even worse, Dr. Mark Lee, a DNA specialist, especially known from the O.J. Simpson case, he looked into the DNA and he proved that it could have been left over from manufacturing and the factories, and he proved this with an unopened bag of underwear which had the same problem. There was DNA from an unknown man. So basically he proved it fallacious, which is basically just false, and that brings everyone that we thought wasn't a suspect back into the case, which makes this case even 10 times more unsolvable. You have so many people claiming that they're not suspect, and then you have the guy from Bangkok. And as we trace back to this, there's no way he could be a suspect because he specifically told the police a certain amount of evidence, and the evidence he told didn't match up to the evidence that the police had. And there were 2 sets of footprints at the case, and basically that just means they worked in a group. But even though he mentioned that one piece of evidence, everything else he said didn't match up to the case. And for this exact reason, this case has been left open, because they can't go over everything because they start back at square one. And that's why the case is unsolved. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to start a series where I go over cases, because honestly, it's a little bit of fun. And I know this was a serious video, but I really enjoyed it. Let me know if y'all want more. Bye.